Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Sid Heron. I'm the Director of Sales for Virtual Cube. If you are not familiar with Virtual Cube, we've been around the area here in the Pacific Northwest for close to 20 years now. Some may remember us during our days as Moose Logic. We changed our name when we got into cloud services a few years ago and began doing business in parts of the country where the Moose Logic name wasn't known. We've been a Microsoft and Citrix partner for a very long time. We're a managed services provider, which is a fancy way of saying that we support people's networks for a fixed monthly fee. And we're a cloud services provider. Today, we will be talking about this thing called lifecycle management. So we'll talk a little bit about what it is, about the cost to your business of running old technology, how to get more value from your IT assets, how to track your technology assets, and a little bit about how we can help. This seminar, by the way, is being recorded and will be made available on our website for later playback. So believe it or not, running old technology does cost your business. It is tangible. And some people I know just tend to run their equipment until it breaks, and they have to replace it. They have no choice. So they leave their technology asset management to chance. But the result of that is downtime. So you have people unable to do their jobs because equipment is down. That increases the cost of your business, and it also means that you have unexpected expenses, probably unbudgeted expense to replace broken equipment and perhaps have to pay someone like us to come in and recover from an equipment failure. And Murphy's Law says that's going to happen at the least possible least convenient time for your business in terms of lost productivity and in terms of budget. So to avoid that, it's important to plan ahead and budget for future technology investments. Now, you may think that technology downtime is inevitable, and it is. Anything that's made is going to break. So you're going to have a certain amount of downtime when you're running a business, but the fact of the matter is that a few minutes here or there every month or even every week adds up. According to this survey done by research firm IDC, 73% of the businesses they surveyed had some kind of interruption during the past 5 years. The average of that was about 7.5 hours of downtime per year, and you can see how that broke down of hardware failure, network failure, software failure. But the cumulative cost to those businesses that were surveyed over that period of time was more than $70 million as a result of technology downtime. Now, you can run some of these numbers yourself to an extent. I mean, you can take the average cost of your company payroll, figure out what the cost is per hour, and then figure out what it costs to have your employees sitting around doing nothing for 8 hours out of a year. But that's only part of it. The other part is the missed opportunity cost, because when they're not able to do their jobs and then they're not doing whatever it is that you hired them to do, that brings revenue into your business. So you're losing productivity, or you're losing revenue, and believe it or not, you're also damaging your reputation. If people can't get a hold of you when they are trying to get a hold of you because your technology is broken, if they can't get service when they need service, they can't check on the status of an order when they need to find out, it's going to hurt your reputation. And according to a Microsoft survey of small businesses, more than 90% of clients, and remember these are probably your clients as well, more than 90% of clients say they would take their business elsewhere rather than work with a company that used outdated technology, because they just can't trust that they'll get good customer service out of those businesses. Here's some other numbers for you. If you're using a free cloud-based email service like Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail, 25% of clients out there think that a business is unprofessional and lacks credibility if they use a free cloud-based email service. 61% think a business is outdated if it's using a 5 to 10-year-old operating system. 60% think it's outdated if it's using a 5 to 10-year-old computer. Clients expect businesses to use real-time interactive customer services. They expect businesses to use modern mobile devices. They expect businesses to use the latest operating systems. They believe that the use of modern technology is critical to the success of a business, and they believe that businesses that use modern technology are more competitive. So what are the takeaways from that? As you can see from those numbers, it pays to be proactive rather than reactive. The objective is to eliminate downtime, eliminate unplanned expense, and improve the productivity of your people. But many businesses do squeeze as much life from their technology assets as they possibly can, which means that they end up with unexpected expenses and headaches as equipment invariably breaks down and becomes obsolete over time. Which begs the question, does your business have a plan for lifecycle management? We think that you can get more value from your IT by planning ahead. Today's businesses have a lot of different kinds of equipment and software under one roof. Servers, desktops, laptops, tablets, mobile phones, operating systems, customer relationship management systems, all kinds of business applications. And these hardware and software assets need to be acquired, they need to be managed, they eventually need to be retired. And by regularly tracking your technology assets' lifespans, contract lengths, warranties, licenses, service issues, and costs, you can avoid downtime and unnecessary expenses as equipment reaches the end of its useful life. Not to mention, you have a much better idea of how much to budget for future technology acquisitions and keeping your business productive. Now, before you create a life cycle management plan for your business, it's important to be clear on what goals you want to achieve. Do you want to eliminate downtime? Do you want to speed up your business processes and systems? Do you want more productivity from your people? You just want to make more cost-effective acquisition decisions? Is it your goal to retire assets before they start requiring additional resources to support them and keep them running? So it's important to go through these things and be clear on which of these things are most important for you and what you really want to accomplish with a lifecycle management approach. Finding the right way to do it depends on a variety of factors, including the size of your company, the number of technology assets, the nature of your business, and so forth. Probably the three most common methods of doing lifecycle management are the three that you see here. Organizations use the accounting policies to drive technology lifecycle. They have a capital budget, they budget for replacement, and that's when they get to replace stuff. A lot of big companies I know assume roughly a 3-year lifespan for desktop and laptop PCs, and so they just plan that they're going to replace a third of their desktops and laptops every year. They budget for it and they just do it, whether it's whether the equipment is still working or not. Some companies assume roughly a 4-year service life for server hardware and software, and they assume they're going to replace their server infrastructure every 4 years, and they budget accordingly. But that may or may not align with the actual lifespan of those assets. So you need to think about that, take that into account, and also think about what do you do if you have unexpected business expansion. You suddenly bring on another X number of employees, you acquire another business, you open another office, and now you've got to figure out how you're going to acquire assets for those locations as well. Some companies go by warranty expiration. They assume that the end of warranty equals the end of life. But that may or may not necessarily be true. The fact of the matter is most servers today from big manufacturers like Dell and HP and Lenovo and so forth come probably with 3-year on-site warranties. But those servers may have a useful life of 4 years, 5 years maybe, depending on how heavily used they are. And the unfortunate thing is that once you get outside of the manufacturer's warranty window, if something breaks, it can be very difficult to find replacement parts. Where as long as you've got the manufacturer's warranty in place, if something breaks, if a processor fails, if memory fails, if the motherboard in the server fails, hard drive fails, whatever the case may be, then it's on the manufacturer to come up with the replacement part or figure out what else they're going to do to get you back in service. So we strongly recommend leveraging extended warranties. Pretty much all of the manufacturers I named will renew the warranties for an extended period. So whatever your operating assumption is for the lifespan that you want to get out of servers in particular, whether it's 4 years, 5 years, make sure that you're tracking the warranty life of the equipment and leveraging the extended warranties to keep the manufacturer coverage on that equipment until it actually comes up to the point where you're planning on replacing it. And then, of course, the other way that people plan on lifecycle management, which is actually not a plan at all, is they just wait for the equipment to fail. Now, this is a surefire way of knowing that the technology asset has reached the end of its useful life, but it's rather risky, and we don't really advise it because inevitably, as we said, Murphy's Law dictates that it's going to happen at the worst possible time in terms of lost productivity and expense. You're going to have a large, probably unbudgeted and unexpected expense to replace the broken equipment, possibly pay somebody like us to come in on an hourly basis, replace the equipment, recover your data if it was a server failure, and so forth. So it can be expensive, it can impact productivity severely. It's not something we recommend, but whatever method you use, the objective obviously is that you want to replace that hardware or software when the cost of maintaining it is likely to exceed the cost of replacing it. Now, in order to manage the life cycle of those assets, you need both procedural and technological processes in place to track them. Now, of course, this depends on the nature and the size of your business. A small business can get away with a lower level of effort and maybe a little less discipline relative to how they do life cycle management. Larger companies have to invest a lot more time and energy into the same process because they've got a lot more stuff that they have to manage. Trying to track the IT assets of your business manually can be a time-consuming and error-prone practice. So that's why a lot of companies invest in managed IT services firm like us that can simplify the lifecycle management planning and process for you. An outsourced provider can more easily track business technology assets using tools for automatic discovery and for tracking of hardware and software. For example, our management and monitoring tool, our remote monitoring tool, if you happen to be running Dell servers, our tool will automatically pull in the Dell service tag. It'll read it right off the equipment remotely. And we can look that service tag up and know exactly when the warranty is due to expire on that equipment and help you manage and plan for it. A lot of studies out there have shown that having an effective lifecycle management process in place goes a long ways in helping you make better financial decisions, as well as in eliminating unnecessary downtime and lost productivity. So how can we help? Well, if you haven't already done so, we strongly recommend that you consider developing a lifecycle management policy for your business. And we can help you do that. If you'd like to contact us for a complimentary assessment, we'll come in and help you put together that technology lifecycle plan. We stay up to date on the latest technology. We use it ourselves. We know what's out there. We've been at this for a long time, and we are confident that we can help you reduce downtime, improve the productivity of your people, and keep things running smoothly. So you can reach us at 425-939-2700. You can also email us at info@virtualcube.com. And of course, if you have a service issue that you would like dealt with, you can email tickets@virtualcube.com. It will go directly into our service queue, and someone will be assigned to work that and get back to you as soon as possible.